I had only been here a few hours. I thought, okay, well, it's a 4-day trek. I'm tired. I want to unwind. I just want to go out. I want to celebrate. I want to be, right? And see what happens. See what life brings. Life works that way. I just show up. And so I went to the Del Mar E Club at Camp Pendleton, because being a Marine myself, I was in the reserves at the time. I knew that it would feel safe. It would be friendly, and it would feel familiar, like a home away from home. So anyway, I went to, this E Club, and I felt a little awkward and a little out of my comfort zone and strange, and it was a foreign place, and so I spotted, there was a gal across the way, and you have to understand, on a Marine base, especially back then, this is 20 some years ago, there were not many women around. I mean, sure, there would be some that would parade in later and troll through there, but I wasn't like that. And anyway, I saw this gal across the way, and I kind of sheepishly went over, and I said, I'm not going to bother you or anything, but is it okay if I sit here with you? I just, can I just stand here, sit here with you, and it won't be a burden, but I don't know anybody, and I've only been here a few hours. I mean, literally a few hours. And with this enthusiastic, bright, broad smile and cheerful voice, the voice of people when there's joy, there's music in their voice. Her name was Connie. She said, "Of course you can. Hi, I'm Connie." And I just moved here this weekend from Alaska. And so anyway, Connie was my very, very first friend when I moved out here. And we struggled. We were so poor and so broke. We would pool our limited, very, very limited resources and get bread and milk and craft dinner, cheapest pasta, whatever we could. Cup of noodle soup and beer money. We would pull beer money. I don't even like beer that much, but those were really special times, and they were hard times, and we struggled, and we laughed, and we were determined to make it. We didn't know how, but we were going to make it, and we were going to make it day by day, and just in that place of faith. And I don't know where you're at in your life, what your age group is, what your gender, what your vocation is. And it really doesn't matter, because I think we all know what it's like to be in that place of uncertainty where we're, dipping our toes in the pool and just to test the water. But you're committed, you're committed, and you're going to make it happen. And that's how she and I were. And I would, at that time, I was in the reserves, and I was looking for work, and she was looking for work. She was a single mom. She's, divorced, and her kids were 4 and 2, Kelsey and Donovan. They were cute, too. They're really cute little kids. And Kelsey would brush my hair, and I'd brush her hair, and I just think little girls are so sweet. And Donovan was still in diapers, cute as a button. And Connie rented an apartment early on. It was back by the rear gate at Pendleton. And it was by the week or by the month at the most. We couldn't see to the next day. We can't plan a month in advance. Who knows where we'll be in a month? But anyway, there was no furniture, but we would, bring groceries in and lay a blanket or towels down. We had, pillows, and we would just, crash on her floor, and we would laugh, and we would talk about what we wanted and about how hard things were, and that, we were just going to create something. We didn't know what, but something. That feeling. Well, anyway, long story short, we made it. We ended up being here for a number of years. And I remember Thanksgiving at that time. I didn't have money to fly back home. And I spent a number of Thanksgivings with Connie. We would just... by that point, she had gone from renting a floor to an apartment and then to a house. And I was on active duty. I would sign up for different temporary active duty billets. And when I was at Pendleton or 29 Palms, I would come back to her house. And for a period of time, I even rented a room there. At that time, I think I was stationed down at MCRD. And anyway, I was never alone on Thanksgiving. We would spend Thanksgiving together, and she was a really good cook. And I always felt at home with her. And everyone felt at home with her. And even early on, it's funny because we would go over to the beach and pack up all day aboard Camp Pendleton. Spend 4th of July there, wait for the fireworks. We would go there early in the morning and camp out and be there all day long. And back in the day, you could take coolers on the beach and, you know, drink on the beach. And it was just festive. It was fun. And if there were kids that were, we call them kids. I mean, they were young Marines on, but, you know, they're kids. And they were lonely and just wanted to blow off some steam. And we would, you know, load as many as we could into, my 2-seater car and her little red car, Corolla or something, and shuttle back to her house and just hang out and watch TV or drink a beer or something. And it was nothing that was illicit. It was just, these kids were lonely. And with Connie, you never felt alone. You felt welcome and you felt safe, and you knew you would laugh and you knew you would be embraced and you knew everything would be okay. She just was that way. Well, she continued on with her life and ended up getting a house down the street from the one she rented. And I ended up meeting my husband, and so we didn't drift, not in terms of the friendship, but just geographically, because she stayed up in Oceanside and I moved to Scripps. And so she would come to our house for Christmas parties and this kind of thing. And we stayed in touch, and I always loved Connie. Well, this was last week, and it was Mother's Day weekend. I got a text, and it was, it said, you know, can I have your phone number? And I didn't know who it was. And it was Kelsey, her daughter. And so of course. And so she called me. My mom was in town. She was here over Mother's Day. And we were about to head out for dinner. And she was, you know, very silent and I thought, oh no. And she said, my mom's gone. And it was just surreal. I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean she's gone? She's not gone. She's Connie. She's not gone. And she had spent the night at a friend's, and I guess the friend had gone in to check on her in the morning, and she had passed away. She had some medical complications in the past, you know, period of time, but, you know, was doing okay. But she went in and she was gone. And, you know, life just works that way, doesn't it? I mean, you're here and then you're taken away. And when I think of her, she lived her life to the fullest. And Connie was not famous. She wasn't a wealthy woman, but she had life, and she was vibrant, and she was joyful, and she loved her children, and she loved her friends. And yesterday there was a celebration of life, and you know, I was telling a friend of mine back home, it's funny, people don't have funerals the way they used to. You know, when I was little and someone passed away, you would wear black, and there were pallbearers, and it was very sad and very somber, and there was scripture that was read at the burial site, and that still happens to a certain extent. But now there is much more a celebration, and it's more joyful, and it's the way life was meant to be remembered and embraced and captured. And we can't really capture it, can we? I mean, you can't harness time. You can only spend it. You can only use it. You can embrace it, but you can't harness it. You can't keep it. And she understood that. I think there was something about her that just always knew that. And I think that's why she was so joyful. She never became complacent in her life or in her reality. And we had a celebration up in Oceanside at the beach, and her friends were there, and it was so beautiful. I'll put pictures on the blog. I'll write up a blog corresponding to this. but we put little messages to her in the balloon. They had a helium tank, and then her family, they had a boat and went out in the water. And when they did that, others of us were right on the pier, and when they released their balloons from out there, then we did the same. There must have been 100 balloons with love letters to this woman, and that would have made her so happy, because that's how she was, and she was light like that. And I just want to tell you, I always encourage you to to make the most of your life, and to embrace the people in your life, and to take chances. And I am so guilty of that, of being complacent and waiting for what, I don't know, but the not just the people in your lives that probably do know that you love them. It's assumed, and we always talk about that. Make sure the people in your life know that you love them. They probably do. But if you have unfinished business, or there's something that you really want, or that's your heart's desire, or someone that's your heart's desire, just make sure they know. And they probably do. They probably do. But live your life like the balloon that's headed up to the sky, with messages of love every day for the people in your life and yourself. Give yourself permission to mess things up, to take a chance. Have a willingness to fail. There's so much emphasis placed on success and achieving goals, and whether it be that weight loss, or writing that book, or being that Uber parent, or whatever it is. And you can achieve all of those things. You can. But be willing to redirect your course too, and take a chance, and allow the moment to just be what it's going to be. Don't miss out on that joy. And that's really the way Connie lived her life always. And when I opened this blog, I was talking about understanding the concept of time and timelessness. And we can't keep it. We can just love it. We can honor it. We can respect it. We can utilize it. And it's funny, I've talked about this so many times, and that's why no space or time. It goes back to the lyrics that, and if the words don't come together, listen to the melody, because my love is in there hiding. I love you in a place where there's no space or time. And I think about meeting her, and it was yesterday. And, my kid is almost a teenager, and I've been with my husband, 14 years. And I think about friends that I've known for a long time. And I remember meeting them way back when, in elementary school or junior high, or at that first job, and the impressions we have of people, and the misimpressions we have of them, and how much we love them. And I just want to tell you to live your life and be happy, be joyful, and think about what you would say every day if you were to write a message to everyone you know and put it in a balloon and release it. And make sure you have a balloon there for yourself too. Or maybe for your younger self, or your future self, or if you're gone and you were to look back and say, what would I have done differently? Make sure that you don't have anything to put in there. That's really all I wanted to say. And that's it. And Connie, we love you. Everyone who knew you loved you and will always love you. You are in our hearts. That's it.